Hey, look, I got some video. Hold on, I gotta play the video. Where's the video? Where's the video? Look, it's Netanyahu and Speaker Johnson. Oh no. We just missed it. Hold on, I'll see if I can rewind it for a second. Let me see if I can rewind it. There they are. Moments ago, Netanyahu and Speaker Johnson. Look. That's moments ago. Moments ago. Photo opportunity.
Great, thank you so much.
That was like a minute. This is like a minute ago. It's just like a minute ago.
Wonderful, thank you so much. We'll have the press step out, please.
Thank you, press.
Okay, all right, that's a wrap.
Thank you, that's a wrap. Let's go.
I gotta get my headphones.
Guys,
Hold
move
on.
out, please. Thank you, thank you. Thanks, guys. Visual.
I have to grab my headphones. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna replay it for a second. Give me about 10 seconds so I can grab my headphones. I'll be back in 10 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Now what I need to do is I need to get my headphones on.
Wonderful, thank you so much. We'll have the press step out, please.
Thank you,
Okay,
press.
all right, that's a wrap.
Thank you, that's a wrap. Let's go. Guys, move out, please. Thank you, thank you.
Getting my headphones on. Getting my headphones on. Good, we're good. Okay, we're good. Great, wonderful. Hang on. Okay, so we're here to cover, sorry, we were just getting off another stream. And we just started this one. We were just covering the FBI director testifying in front of the House Judiciary Committee. So now we're covering this, and let me see what I have for you. The speech is in 45 minutes. We'll have the speech live, but we got some protests going on. Let me show you the protests. Protests. Hey, we got protests. Look, live.
And its interest and collusion with the Zionist regime. We call on our community to call out GW's racist
Live protests.
and repressive administration.
Live
It is not
protests.
lost on us that Bibi Netanyahu, an internationally wanted genocidal war criminal, can walk freely in our city, while our peers are banned by their university and our fascist government from their own neighborhoods for the very crime of calling out genocide. It is not lost on us that the same NYPD officers that have repeatedly brutalized our comrades at CUNY and Columbia are right here in DC now. Shame. It is not lost on us that the occupation army, which decapitates babies, trained the very cops which executed Sonia Massey in her own home. Shame. The past few months have sharpened the contradictions of the state and the neoliberal university. Our universities and the state brand us as outside agitators in our own homes when we dare to oppose their material interess. They surveil, brutalize, and evict us to protect their capital while celebrating fascist mass murderers from Linda Thomas Greenfield, Lauren Bobbitt, to the whole of NATO, to Bibi Netanyahu behind us. Invoking the Palestinian revolutionary martyr Hassan Tanafani, as students of conscience, it is our duty to strike and damage imperialism wherever it manifests, especially within our universities. We operate in service of the world revolution, in service of realizing liberation and justice for all colonized, imperialized, and exploited peoples. We call on all students, all people of conscience, to get organized in the collective struggle for liberation from the imperialist death machine. The imperial beast is nothing more than a paper tiger. It appears tough, but in reality it is a
All right, so we're here to bring you live coverage of Netanyahu's speech to the U.S. Congress. That begins in 42 minutes. We have some protest video right now via Reuters, and I appreciate you joining the stream. I'm going to let you watch some of this protest video. Hey, thank you to Jarrett Scott for your support. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will have live coverage of Netanyahu's speech. We'll take some of your comments after the speech. Also, I do want to thank our moderators who are here. Really appreciate all of our moderators. Thank you. Linda Belk and Larry moderate for us on X. And hang on, I'll get you the sound back up in a second. I also want to thank our Twitch moderators. We got Bastion Girl, Big Ball of Yarn, David Green. I got that fire. Sarah, Papa Bear, and Surly Dev over there right now. Thank you. Thanks very much to our Facebook moderators as well. Hang on a moment here. I just want to give them a shout. Dev over there right now. Oops, I'm hearing two of myself. Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body, and all of our Facebook moderators. All right, let me turn the audio back up on some of this. Oh, and thanks to PZ Papa Zulu for your support. I really appreciate it, PZ Papa Zulu.
The Biden administration has dishonored the principle America claims to stand for. The Palestinian Assembly for Liberation not only condemns, but is disgusted by the visit of Benjamin Netanyahu to Congress. The United States has shamefully welcomed a war criminal to speak in the halls of its so-called democracy. Let me be clear. We oppose all interaction with the settler colonial regime of Israel. We are witnessing a 9 months of an ongoing genocide orchestrated by Netanyahu, with reports indicating the murder of 186,000 Palestinians. It is shameful that the United States, instead of denouncing these actions, has openly embraced Netanyahu, a man who has orchestrated the slaughter of Palestinians. The U.S. only welcomed Netanyahu, but has also provided tens of billions of dollars in weapons, thus complicit in these crimes. The blood of innocent Palestinians stains their hands, and this support is nothing short of disgraceful. U.S. leaders have chosen to amplify the voice of a genocidal war criminal over their own citizens, forcing us to hold this nation accountable for its unconditional support of the atrocities against Palestinians. To every politician who welcomed Netanyahu and endorsed further financial support for Israel, you too are complicit in this genocide and will be remembered as war criminals. And come November, we all will remember the politicians that turned a blind eye to the massacres of the Palestinian children. The time for silence is over. We must stand against all those who are complicit in this genocide. The world is watching, and so are we. Revolution is here, and it's promising a near liberation and right to return for all Palestinians. And today, I confidently say that Palestine is almost free. Give it up one more time for Milan.
I have the honor of introducing a member of one of our strongest, fiercest youth organization on Turtle Island in the U.S. and Canada. Give it up for the Palestinian Youth Movement, who's been holding down our streets, holding down our campuses, holding down our elected officials. Give it up for the hand. Comrades and friends, it has been 292 days of the most horrific and enraging violence against our people in Gaza. We gathered here on November 4th after witnessing unspeakable horrors carried out on the Palestinian people. Yet here we are, 9 months later, reeling from the somehow even more gut-wrenching violence of the last couple weeks. The massacres that have taken place in refugee camps and schools and hospitals To the war criminals sitting in the high seats of Congress, your legacy has been laid bare for all to see. Joe Biden's legacy will be recorded in the history books as the butcher of Gaza. He will be remembered for the hundreds of thousands of massacres that he signed off on and enabled. Like those that came before him. Like those that came before him, he will be remembered for the bombing of hospitals and universities, of medics and professors, of children and their families. This government and this country is dripping with the blood of millions from Palestine to Iraq to Vietnam. The extermination of Palestinians is clearly a bipartisan project. The only thing that brings both parties of this nation together are issues of war and destruction that advance their greedy interests in the Arab region. Benjamin Netanyahu has made his genocidal intentions in Palestine clear for decades, and he has personally overseen the bombardment of Gaza time and time again. This is the same criminal who peddled the lie that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And now, in 2024, his intentions are just as clear as he carries out the wholesale slaughter of our people in Gaza. Netanyahu has literally and figuratively dumped his dirty laundry at the doorstep of this country. And now here in D.C., he finds himself at home amongst other war-loving criminals who would gladly bankroll his genocidal intent in their attempts to destroy our region. But we stand here to show Netanyahu and all the members of Congress the blood of the Palestinian people is not cheap.
I'm sorry, I thought my microphone was muted, so you might have heard me typing. I'm sorry, I'll mute my microphone next time. Hey, really quick, so sorry about that. Hey, I just want to say a huge thanks. Hey, Walter Beasley, that is incredible, generous of you. Thanks so much, Walter Beasley, for all your support of the channel. That is very, very nice of you, Walter Beasley. Thank you. Also, thanks so much for your support. Allie B. from Tennessee, Kate89, Fiery Patriot. Really appreciate your support. So we are going to bring you live coverage of this speech in 35 minutes from the Capitol. Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, addressing Congress. We're showing you some of the protest footage going on outside the Capitol right now, but we will bring you live coverage, and then we'll take some of your comments after the speech. Okay? And let me get you back to the audio from the protests.
Those that we know about and those who have been disappeared. We bear witness to the murder of our mothers, to the murder of our fathers, to the murder of our siblings, and to the murder of our children. And not only do we bear witness, we remain committed to our struggle. Our struggle is one of dignity and honor and steadfastness. Just as our people are insistent on life, just as they have already started to rebuild structures as the bombing continues, or pitch tents atop the rubble of their homes, we learn and affirm life from them. So we gather here in the thousands, and we will continue to gather and continue to protest. We will continue to occupy spaces in the names of our martyrs, block bridges to force this country to reckon with what they are doing, and bring Palestine with us wherever we go. From Higgs Hall to Shuhada Square, there is nothing you can do to stop the will of the people. We will continue to carry the struggle forward. We will not rest until we see a liberated Gaza.
Also, a quick thanks. Hey, Marty Hagwood, that is extremely generous of you. Thank you so much for your very generous support, Marty Hagwood. I really appreciate it.
Palestine is our fight.
Our sign language interpreters. So just move here, out in this direction, and you'll see as we continue to gather. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Palestine! Long live Gaza! Long live Gaza!
Netanyahu, you will pay. Resistance is the only way. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Long live Palestine.
I'm muted. I was muted. Hey, sorry about that. What I was saying was, sorry. Some people have asked. I don't have any footage right now from inside the Capitol, and I also don't have any footage of like pro-Israel demonstrations, although there very well might be. So if I get like footage from inside the Capitol, I'll certainly show it to you. A little earlier in the stream, I was showing you some footage of Speaker Johnson with Netanyahu. But so I'll be on the lookout for other stuff going on before the speech. When the speech starts, we'll bring you the speech. But yeah, I can only, we got some police here. I can only show you the footage I have access to. So showing you this, some of this footage of this sizable presence of protesters, anti-Netanyahu protesters outside the Capitol, near the Capitol. And I'll keep looking around for other stuff too. But right now, I don't have anything from inside the Capitol. Hey, a quick thanks to Jarrett Scott and Leon Yoder and Xander Hatmaker and Shauna Tom Walton for your support. No, somebody said, can we switch away from this? I'm sorry, but I'm not. I think this is important to show it's part of what's going on. If you don't like watching the protesters, then leave the broadcast and come back for the speech. But I actually think it's part of the news event to have this large protest going on. And rather than seeing me yapping, I think it's interesting to see the actually what's going on in the street. So we're going to keep showing it. If you don't like it because you don't agree with it, well then watch something else for 23 minutes. All right, but it's interesting news footage to me, so we're going to keep showing it. A lot of police there, you can see. Big police presence. Somebody has like a green smoke thing going on there. Hey, thanks so much to Michael Adkisson. Hey, thanks, Michael, for your support. Also, Peep TB God, Jennifer Whittington, Walter Beasley, Martin Gingrich, Jarrett Scott. Thank you so much. As we see some police here, among some prominent members of Congress not attending are Kamala Harris, the vice president, will not be attending the speech. Look at that. Kamala Harris will not be attending the speech. Also not attending the speech, according to NBC News, are Nancy Pelosi, Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin. He will not be attending the speech. And some others. Ooh, look at this. Big police presence. Hey, thanks to Red Squirrel and Martin Gingrich and Crazy Yoda for your support.
Gaza! Fuck these fascist defenders! These Nazi defenders! Nazi defenders! This is what they defend! Military Order number 45, made in 1967!
NBC News says roughly 40 Democrats in the House and Senate have said they are skipping the speech by Netanyahu to Congress. Ooh, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. A lot of pushing going on. Oh, we got spray. Things are getting sprayed. We have spray. They're spraying stuff. The police are spraying things. Look at spray. Wow. Wow. Well, this is looking a little, seeing some things getting thrown now. This is not a great scene right here near the Capitol. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, this is not good. Well, this is not good at all. A lot of spray going on. I don't know if that's pepper spray or bear spray or whatever it is, but they are spraying people. And things are getting thrown at them. Whoa, now we have stun grenades, I think. Is that what it is? Yeah, that boom we heard, I don't know if that was just like a noise grenade or there was some kind of like tear gas or something. I'm not sure. Walter Beasley points out that J.D. Vance also will not be attending the speech. According to The Hill, the Trump campaign said Vance has duties to fulfill as the nominee for vice president.
A war criminal out here. Where are you even from? USCP? Rosario, we're gonna remember you, boy. When you see the pictures tomorrow, Rosario, of the kids getting pepper sprayed, I hope you feel like shit.
A quick thank you to Red Squirrel, Nick Blackbird, Kate89, Mick T. Fly, Sarina77, Leon Yoder, Walter Beasley, Jarrett Scott, Joseph Whitlock. Thank you for your support of the channel as we continue to see these big protests and some confrontations with police near the Capitol in D.C. We saw the police spraying some of the protesters before, and some pushing and shoving. Thanks also to Brainstorm Warning on Twitch and Smelly Cat for your support. It's people protesting over Netanyahu being allowed to speak at Congress. You can see there are people protesting Israel's conduct of the war in Gaza and maybe just Israel's relations with Palestinians in general. I haven't talked to all the protesters, but these would be pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel treatment of Palestinians protests.
through. Fall back, fall back. Let us through. 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 You
Hey guys, so I have the live shot from the House of Representatives in the corner. So we have the live shot from the House of Representatives and we have the protests.
Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of the State of Israel, into the chamber. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer. The gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Stefanik. The gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Reschenthaler. The gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Palmer. The gentleman from Utah, Mr. Moore. The gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. McClain. The gentleman from Texas, Mr. McCall. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries. Gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark. The gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar. The gentleman from California, Mr. Liu. The gentlewoman from Florida, Ms. Wasserman Schultz. The gentleman from California, Mr. Sherman. The gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Schneider. And the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Gottheimer.
The acting president pro temp of the Senate, at the direction of that body, appoints the following senators as members of the committee on the part of the Senate to escort His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, into the House chamber. The senator from West Virginia, Mr. Manchin. The senator from Arizona, Ms. Sinema. The senator from Pennsylvania, Mr. Fetterman. The senator from Kentucky, Mr. McConnell. The senator from South Dakota, Mr. Thune. The senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso. The senator from West Virginia, Mrs. Capito. The senator from Iowa, Ms. Ernst. The senator from Montana, Mr. Daines. The senator from Iowa, Mr. Grassley. The senator from Idaho, Mr. Risch.
All members of the escort committee will exit the chamber through the lobby doors.
So again, we got the speech coming up from the House, and we have the protests going on. I'm keeping an eye on both of them, trying to let you guys see both things. Hey, thanks Tom Isle for your support, and Jill Tedesco and Leon Yoder. I appreciate that. Red Squirrel and Jarrett Scott, thank you for your support, and Nick Blackbird. Thanks also Lisa Masajowski, if I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you also Lisa Masajowski for your support. So guys, when Netanyahu comes in, I'm putting myself over the house footage for a second. When Netanyahu comes in, I'll have to kind of just figure out what's going on. I'm going to split screen it somehow because I do want to keep an eye on the protest. But what I might do is shrink the protest down. I mean, if there's, unless there's something huge going on at the protest, I do want to let you guys see Netanyahu when he speaks. So I'll do my best to kind of figure out some sort of split screen thing going on here. But we'll keep an eye on both things at once.
Members of Congress, I have the high... Oh.
Mr. Speaker, the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps.
Again, I'll be doing a split screen thing. I'm doing the best I can. We'll keep an eye on the protest. I'm going to make the speech a little bigger now because we're getting to almost speech. Oh, but there's stuff going on at the protest too, so we got to keep an eye on that as well. We want to let you see both. So. I'm gonna keep both of them up there, guys. Let me see if I can increase the volume of this a little more. Oh, I can. Wonderful. So we're waiting for this. The speech is about to begin, and we'll keep an eye on the protests as well. Thank you, Marty2003, for your support. Thank you so much to all of our moderators for being here. I really appreciate it. Netanyahu's about to speak. Let me just fix our headline there, because the clock is now going to be 0. Get rid of the clock. I'll fix the headline too. He's about to come into Congress. I like this a little bigger here. Big police presence there, you can see. Thank you for being here for our live coverage. Here on Agenda Free TV, we're bringing you Netanyahu's speech to Congress, along with footage of the protests going on in D.C. outside of the speech, some anti-Netanyahu, pro-Palestinian protests going on outside the Capitol. Letting you take a look at both. I'm popping up for a second. We're waiting for Netanyahu to come in. Netanyahu's about to come in. Thanks to JoJo777. I appreciate that. Hey, by the way, tonight we will have live coverage tonight of President Biden addressing the nation. His address will be at 8 p.m. We will come on sometime before then. So tonight, right here, Agenda Free TV, live coverage of President Biden's address to the nation. Thanks, Relila, for your support on Twitch and Mr. 26.2 and Brainstorm Warning. Shout out to our moderators over there on Twitch, Bastion Girl, I Got That Fire, Sarah, Papa Bear, and Surly Dev. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hang on. Sounds like something's happening.
Speaker, the Prime Minister of the State of Israel.
Hey guys, I'm assuming that more of you would rather have a split screen. I mean, I can make the Netanyahu speech full screen. I just do think it might be a good idea to keep an eye on those protests. So that's my assumption, that some of you would rather would like to see at least a shot of the protests. So you know. Okay, a bunch of people are saying they want to see both. So I'll keep Netanyahu bigger, but we'll keep an eye on the protests. You know, if something big happens with the protests, I can make the protests bigger. But that way, at least we can keep an eye on both of them. Okay, yeah, people are saying they want to keep the split screen, so we'll keep the split screen. Sorry, the sound keeps switching volume, so sorry about that.
Members of Congress, I now have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, Senator Ben Cardin, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senators, members of Congress, distinguished guests. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the profound honor of addressing this great citadel of democracy for the fourth time. We meet today at a crossroads of history. Our world is in upheaval. In the Middle East, Iran's axis of terror confronts America, Israel, and our Arab friends. This is not a clash of civilizations. It's a clash between barbarism and civilization. It's a clash between those who glorify death and those who sanctify life. For the forces of civilization to triumph, America and Israel must stand together. Because when we stand together, something very simple happens. We win, they lose. And my friends, I came to assure you today of one thing: we will win. Ladies and gentlemen, like December 7th, 1941, and September 11th, 2001, October 7th is a day that will forever live in infamy. It was the Jewish holiday of Simchat Torah. It began as a perfect day, not a cloud in the sky. Thousands of young Israelis were celebrating at an outdoor music festival. And suddenly, at 6:29 a.m., as children were still sleeping soundly in their beds in the towns and kibbutzim next to Gaza, suddenly heaven turned into hell. 3,000 Hamas terrorists stormed into Israel. They butchered 1,200 people from 41 countries, including 39 Americans. Proportionately, compared to our population size, that's like 20 9/11s in one day. And these monsters, they raped women, they beheaded men, they burnt babies alive, they killed parents in front of their children, and children in front of their parents. They dragged 255 people, both living and dead, into the dark dungeons of Gaza. Israel has already brought home 135 of these hostages, including 7 who were freed in daring rescue operations. One of those freed hostages, Noor Gamani, is here in the gallery, sitting near my wife, Sarah. On the morning of October 7th, the entire world saw Noah's look of desperation as she was violently abducted to Gaza on the back of a motorcycle. I met Noah's mother, Leora, a few months ago. She was dying of cancer. She said to me, "Prime Minister, I have one final wish. I wish to hug my daughter Noah one last time before I die." 2 months ago, I authorized a breathtaking commando rescue operation. Our special forces, including a heroic officer named Arnon Zmora, who fell in this battle, rescued Noah and 3 other hostages. Noah, I think it's one of the most moving things. When Noah was reunited with her mother, Leora, and her mother's last wish came true. Noah, we're so thrilled to have you with us today. Thank you. Many hostage families are also here with us today, including Eliyahu Bibas. Eliyahu Bibas is the grandfather of those 2 beautiful red-headed boys, the Bibas boys, toddlers. And they were taken hostage with their mother and Eliyahu's son. The entire family was taken hostage. 2 beautiful red-haired children taken hostage. What monsters. And with us also is Iris Chaim, whose son, Yotam, bravely escaped Hamas captivity with 2 other Israelis, and tragically they were killed, making their way back to our lines. We have with us also the families of American hostages. They're here. The pain these families have endured is beyond words. I met with them again yesterday, and I promised them this: I will not rest until all their loved ones are home, all of them. As we speak, we're actively engaged in intensive efforts to secure their release, and I'm confident that these efforts can succeed. Some of them are taking place right now. I want to thank President Biden for his tireless efforts on behalf of the hostages and for his efforts to the hostage families as well. I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel after the savage attack on October 7th. He rightly called Hamas sheer evil. He dispatched 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East to deter a wider war. And he came to Israel to stand with us during our darkest hour, a visit that will never be forgotten. President Biden and I have known each other for over 40 years. I want to thank him for half a century of friendship to Israel and for being, as he says, a proud Zionist. Actually, he says, a proud Irish-American Zionist. My friends, for more than 9 months, Israel's soldiers have shown boundless courage. With us today, is Lieutenant Avichai Reuven. Avichai is an officer in the Israeli paratroopers. His family immigrated to Israel from Ethiopia. In the early hours of October 7th, Avichai heard the news of Hamas's bloody rampage. He put on his uniform, grabbed his rifle, but he didn't have a car. So he ran 8 miles to the front lines of Gaza to defend his people. You heard that right. He ran 8 miles, came to the front lines, killed many terrorists, and saved many, many lives. Avichai, we all honor your remarkable heroism. Another Israeli is with us here today, and he's stand up right next to Avichai. This is Master Sergeant Ashraf al-Bakhiri. Ashraf is a Bedouin soldier from the Israeli Muslim community of Raat. On October 7th, Ashraf too killed many terrorists. First, he defended his comrades in the military base, and he then rushed to defend the neighboring communities, including the devastated community of Kibbutz Be'eri. Like Ashraf, the Muslim soldiers of the IDF fought alongside their Jewish, Druze, Christian, and other comrades in arms with tremendous bravery. A third hero, Lieutenant Asa Sofer, is also here with us. Asa fought as an officer in the Tank Corps, and he was wounded in battle. He was wounded in battle while protecting his fellow soldiers from a grenade. He lost his right arm and the vision in his left eye. He's recovering, and incredibly, within a short time, Asa will soon return to active duty as a commander of a tank company. I just learned there is a fourth hero here, Lieutenant Jonathan Ben Chamo, who lost a leg in Gaza and continued to fight. My friends, these are the soldiers of Israel, unbowed, undaunted, unafraid. As the Bible says, Am kelavi yakum. They shall rise like lions. They have risen like lions. The lions of Judah, the lions of Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of the IDF come from every corner of Israeli society. Every ethnicity, every color, every creed, left and right, religious and secular. All are imbued with the indomitable spirit of the Maccabees, the legendary Jewish warriors of antiquity. With us today is Yechiel Leiter, the father of one of those Maccabees. Yechiel's father escaped the Holocaust and found refuge in America. As a young man, Yechiel moved to Israel and raised a family of 8 children. He named his eldest son, Moshe, after his late father. Moshe became an exemplary officer in one of our elite commando units. He served with distinction for 2 decades while raising 6 beautiful children of his own. On October 7th, Moshe volunteered to return to combat. 4 weeks later, he was killed when a booby-trapped mine exploded in a tunnel shaft right next to a mosque. At his son's funeral, Yechiel said this: "If the state of Israel had not been established after the Holocaust, the image engraved in our collective memory would have been the photograph of that helpless Jewish boy in the Warsaw Ghetto holding his hands up in the air with Nazi rifles pointed at him. But because of the birth of Israel," Yechiel continued, "because of the courage of soldiers like my son Moshe, the Jewish people are no longer helpless in the face of our enemies." Yechiel, please rise so we can honor your son's sacrifice. And I pledge to you and to all the bereaved families of Israel, some of whom are in this hall today, the sacrifice of your loved ones will not be in vain. It will not be in vain, because for Israel, never again must never be an empty promise. It must always remain a sacred vow. And after October 7th, never again is now. My friends, defeating our brutal enemies requires both courage and clarity. Clarity begins by knowing the difference between good and evil. Yet incredibly, many anti-Israel protesters, many choose to stand with evil. They stand with Hamas. They stand with rapists and murderers. They stand with people who came into the kibbutzim, into a home. The parents hid the children, the 2 babies, in the attic, in a secret attic. They murder the families, the parents. They find the secret latch to the hidden attic, and then they murder the babies. These protesters stand with them. They should be ashamed of themselves. They refuse to make the simple distinction between those who target terrorists and those who target civilians, between the democratic state of Israel and the terrorist thugs of Hamas. We recently learned from the National Security Director, U.S. Director of National Intelligence, that Iran is funding and promoting anti-Israel protests in America. They want to disrupt America. So these protesters burn American flags even on the 4th of July. And I wish to salute the fraternity brothers at the University of North Carolina who protected the American flag against these anti-Israel protesters. For all we know, Iran is funding the anti-Israel protests that are going on right now outside this building. Not that many, but they're there, and throughout the city. Well, I have a message for these protesters. When the tyrants of Tehran, who hang gays from cranes and murder women for not covering their hair, are praising, promoting, and funding you, you have officially become Iran's useful idiots. Some of these protesters, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Some of these protesters hold up signs proclaiming gays for Gaza. They might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC. These protesters chant from the river to the sea, but many don't have a clue what river and what sea they're talking about. They not only get an F in geography, they get an F in history. They call Israel a colonialist state. Don't they know that the land of Israel is where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob prayed, where Isaiah and Jeremiah preached, and where David and Solomon ruled? For nearly 4,000 years, the land of Israel has been the homeland of the Jewish people. It's always been our home. It will always be our home. It's not only the campus protesters who get it wrong. It's also the people who run those campuses. 80 years after the Holocaust, the presidents of Harvard, Penn, and I'm ashamed to say my alma mater, MIT, couldn't bring themselves to condemn the calls for the genocide of Jews. You remember what they said? They said, it depends on the context. Well, let me give these befuddled academics a little context. Anti-Semitism is the world's oldest hatred. For centuries, the massacre of Jews was always preceded by wild accusations. We were accused of everything from poisoning wells to spreading plagues, to using the blood of slaughtered children to bake Passover matzahs. These preposterous anti-Semitic lies led to persecution, mass murder, and ultimately to history's worst genocide, the Holocaust. Now, just as malicious lies were leveled for centuries at the Jewish people, malicious lies are now being leveled at the Jewish state. No, don't applaud. Listen. The outrageous slanders that paint Israel as racist and genocidal are meant to delegitimize Israel, to demonize the Jewish state, and to demonize Jews everywhere. And no wonder we've witnessed an appalling rise of anti-Semitism in America and around the world. My friends, whenever and wherever we see the scourge of anti-Semitism, we must unequivocally condemn it and resolutely fight it, without exception. And don't be fooled when the blood libels against the Jewish state come from people who wear fancy silk robes and speak in lofty tones about law and justice. Here's a case in point. The prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has shamefully accused Israel of deliberately starving the people of Gaza. This is utter, complete nonsense. It's a complete fabrication. Israel has enabled more than 40,000 aid trucks to enter Gaza. That's 500,000 tons of food. And that's more than 3,000 calories for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. If there are Palestinians in Gaza who aren't getting enough food, it's not because Israel is blocking it, it's because Hamas is stealing it. So much for that lie, but here's another. The ICC prosecutor accuses Israel of deliberately targeting civilians. What in God's green earth is he talking about? The IDF has dropped millions of flyers, sent millions of text messages, made hundreds of thousands of phone calls to get Palestinian civilians out of harm's way. But at the same time, Hamas does everything in its power to put Palestinian civilians in harm's way. They fire rockets from schools, from hospitals, from mosques. They even shoot their own people when they try to leave the war zone. A senior Hamas official, Fatri Hamad, boasted, listen to this, he boasted that Palestinian women and children excel at being human shields. His words, excel at being human shields. What monstrous evil. For Israel, every civilian death is a tragedy. For Hamas, it's a strategy. They actually want Palestinian civilians to die so that Israel will be smeared in the international media and be pressured to end the war before it's won. This would enable Hamas to survive another day and, as they vowed, to carry out October 7th again and again and again. Well, I want to assure you, no matter what pressure is brought to bear, I will never allow that to happen. The vast majority of Americans have not fallen for this Hamas propaganda. They continue to support Israel. And I want to say thank you, America, and thank you, senators and House members who continue to support us, continue to support Israel, continue to support the truth and see through the lies. But as for the minority that may have fallen for Hamas's con's job, I suggest you listen to Colonel John Spencer. John Spencer is head of urban warfare studies at West Point. He studied every major urban conflict. I was going to say in modern history. He corrected me, no, in history. Israel, he said, has implemented more precautions to prevent civilian harm than any military in history and beyond what international law requires. That's why, despite all the lies you've heard, the war in Gaza has one of the lowest ratios of combatants to non-combatants casualties in the history of urban warfare. And you want to know where it's lowest in Gaza? It's lowest in Rafah. In Rafah. Remember what so many people said? If Israel goes into Rafah, there will be thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of civilians killed. Well, last week, I went into Rafah. I visited our troops as they finished fighting Hamas's remaining terrorist battalions. I asked the commander there, how many terrorists did you take out in Rafah? He gave me an exact number, 1,203. I asked him, how many civilians were killed? He said, Prime Minister, practically none, with the exception of a single incident where shrapnel from a bomb hit a Hamas weapons depot and unintentionally killed 24 people. The answer is practically none. You want to know why? Because Israel got the civilians out of harm's way, something people said we could never do, but we did it. These heroes here today, the heroic soldiers of Israel, should not be condemned for how they're conducting the war in Gaza. They should be commended for it. I want to thank all of you here today who forcefully opposed the false accusations of the ICC and stood up for the truth. These lies are not only libelous, they're downright dangerous. The ICC is trying to shackle Israel's hands and prevent us from defending ourselves. And if Israel's hands are tied, America is next. And I'll tell you what else is next. The ability of all democracies to fight terrorism will be imperiled. That's what's on the line. So let me assure you, the hands of the Jewish state will never be shackled. Israel will always defend itself. My friends, in the Middle East, Iran is virtually behind all the terrorism, all the turmoil, all the chaos, all the killing. And that should come as no surprise. When he founded the Islamic Republic, Ayatollah Khomeini pledged, "We will export our revolution to the entire world." We will export the Islamic revolution to the entire world. Now ask yourself, which country ultimately stands in the way of Iran's maniacal plans to impose radical Islam on the world? And the answer is clear. It's America, the guardian of Western civilization and the world's greatest power. That's why Iran sees America as its greatest enemy. Last month, we heard a revealing comment, ostensibly about the war in Gaza, but about something else. It came from the foreign minister of Iran's proxy, Hezbollah, and he said this: "This is not a war with Israel. Israel," he said, "is merely a tool. The main war, the real war, is with America." Iran's regime has been fighting America from the moment it came to power. In 1979, it stormed the American embassy. It held scores of Americans hostage for 444 days. Since then, Iran's terrorist proxies have targeted America in the Middle East and beyond. In Beirut, they killed 241 US servicemen. In Africa, they bombed American embassies. In Iraq, they supplied explosives to maim and kill thousands of American soldiers. In America, they actually sent death squads. They sent death squads here to murder a former Secretary of State and a former National Security Advisor. And as we recently learned, they even brazenly threatened to assassinate President Trump. But Iran understands that to truly challenge America, it must first conquer the Middle East. And for this, it uses its many proxies, including the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas. Yet in the heart of the Middle East, standing in Iran's way, is one proud pro-American democracy, my country, the State of Israel. That's why the mobs in Tehran chant death to Israel before they chant death to America. For Iran, Israel is first, America is next. So when Israel fights Hamas, we're fighting Iran. When we fight Hezbollah, we're fighting Iran. When we fight the Houthis, we're fighting Iran. And when we fight Iran, we're fighting the most radical and murderous enemy of the United States of America. And one more thing. When Israel acts to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons that could destroy Israel and threaten every American city, every city that you come from, we're not only protecting ourselves, we're protecting you. My friends, if you remember one thing from the speech, remember this: our enemies are your enemies. Our fight is your fight, and our victory will be your victory. Ladies and gentlemen, that victory is in sight. Israel's defeat of Hamas will be a powerful blow to Iran's axis of terror. Another part of that axis, Hezbollah, attacked Israel on October 8th, a day after the Hamas attack. It has launched thousands of missiles and drones against us. 80,000 of our citizens in northern Israel evacuated their homes, becoming effectively refugees in their own land. We are committed to returning them home. We prefer to achieve this diplomatically. But let me be clear. Israel will do whatever it must do to restore security to our northern border and return our people safely to their homes. Last Friday, a third Iranian proxy, the Houthis, attacked Tel Aviv with a deadly drone. It exploded a few hundred feet from the American consulate, killing one person and injuring 9. On Saturday, I authorized a swift response to that attack. All our enemies should know this. Those who attack Israel will pay a very heavy price. And as we defend ourselves, on all fronts, I know that America has our back. And I thank you for it. All sides of the aisle, thank you. My friends, for decades, America has provided Israel with generous military assistance, and a grateful Israel has provided America with critical intelligence that saved many lives. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on earth. I choose my words carefully. We've jointly developed some of the most sophisticated weapons on earth that help protect both our countries. And we also help keep American boots, we help keep Americans' boots off the ground while protecting our shared interests in the Middle East. I deeply appreciate America's support, including in this current war. But this is an exceptional moment. Fast-tracking U.S. military aid can dramatically expedite an end to the war in Gaza and help prevent a broader war in the Middle East. In World War II, as Britain fought on the front lines of civilization, Winston Churchill appealed to Americans with these famous words: "Give us the tools and we'll finish the job." Today, as Israel fights on the front line of civilization, I too appeal to America. Give us the tools faster and we'll finish the job faster. My dear friends, the war in Gaza could end tomorrow if Hamas surrenders, disarms, and returns all the hostages. But if they don't, Israel will fight until we destroy Hamas's military capabilities, end its rule in Gaza, and bring all our hostages home. That's what total victory means, and we will settle for nothing less. The day after we defeat Hamas, a new Gaza can emerge. My vision for that day is of a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. Israel does not seek to resettle Gaza, but for the foreseeable future, We must retain overriding security control there to prevent the resurgence of terror, to ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel. Gaza should have a civilian administration run by Palestinians who do not seek to destroy Israel. That's not too much to ask. It's a fundamental thing that we have a right to demand and to receive. A new generation of Palestinians must no longer be taught to hate Jews, but rather to live in peace with us. Those twin words, demilitarization and de-radicalization, those two concepts were applied to Germany and Japan after World War II, and that led to decades of peace, prosperity, and security. Following our victory, with the help of regional partners, the demilitarization and de-radicalization of Gaza can also lead to a future of security, prosperity, and peace. That's my vision for Gaza. Now, here's my vision for the broader Middle East. It's also shaped in part by what we saw in the aftermath of World War II. After that war, America forged a security alliance in Europe to counter the growing Soviet threat. Likewise, America and Israel today can forge a security alliance in the Middle East to counter the growing Iranian threat. All countries that are at peace with Israel and all those countries who will make peace with Israel should be invited to join this alliance. We saw a glimpse of that potential alliance on April 14th. Led by the United States, more than half a dozen nations worked alongside Israel to help neutralize hundreds of missiles and drones launched by Iran against us. Thank you, President Biden, for bringing that coalition together. The new alliance I envision would be a natural extension of the groundbreaking Abraham Accords. Those accords saw peace forged between Israel and 4 Arab countries, and they were supported by Republicans and Democrats alike. We could call, I have a name for this new alliance. I think we should call it the Abraham Alliance. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in brokering the historic Abraham Accords. Like Americans, Israelis were relieved that President Trump emerged safe and sound from that dastardly attack on him, dastardly attack on American democracy. There is no room for political violence in democracies. I also want to thank President Trump for all the things he did for Israel, from recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, to confronting Iran's aggression, to recognizing Jerusalem as our capital and moving the American embassy there. That's Jerusalem, our eternal capital, never to be divided again. My dear friends, Democrats and Republicans, despite these times of upheaval, I'm hopeful about the future. I'm hopeful about Israel because my people, the Jewish people, emerged from the depths of hell, from dispossession and genocide. And against all odds, we restored our sovereignty in our ancient homeland. We built a powerful and vibrant democracy, a democracy that pushes the boundaries of innovation for the betterment of all humanity. I'm hopeful about America because I'm hopeful about Americans. I know how much the people of this country have sacrificed to defend freedom. America will continue to be a force for light and good in a dark and dangerous world. For free peoples everywhere, America remains the beacon of liberty its extraordinary founders envisioned back in 1776. Working together, I'm confident that our two nations will vanquish the tyrants and terrorists who threaten us both. As Israel's Prime Minister, I promise you this: no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult the road ahead, Israel will not relent, Israel will not bend. We will defend our land, we will defend our people, we will fight until we achieve victory. Victory over liberty, rather victory of liberty over tyranny, victory of life over death, victory of good over evil. That's our solemn commitment. And we will continue to work with the United States and our Arab partners to transform a troubled region from a backwater of repression, poverty, and war into a thriving oasis of dignity, prosperity, and peace. In this noble mission, as in many others, Israel will always remain America's indispensable ally. Through thick and thin, in good times and in bad, Israel will always be your loyal friend and your steadfast partner. On behalf of the people of Israel, I came here today to say, thank you, America. Thank you for your support and solidarity. Thank you for standing in Israel, with Israel, in our hour of need. Together we shall defend our common civilization. Together, we shall secure a brilliant future for both our nations. May God bless Israel, may God bless America, and may God bless the great alliance between Israel and America forever. Thank you.
Going to show you some protest video too, if I can get it up on the screen here, guys. Okay, that was Prime Minister Netanyahu. In a second, I'm going to show you some. I'm going to try to show you some protest video. Hey guys, give me a moment. I need a moment. I want to get the protest video for you. I just need a second here. So I have some protest video to show you guys right now, some live protest video. But I need a second to get it on the screen. Oh, I know that the headline is messed up. So I will fix that in a second, but just bear with me as I get everything fixed here and get you to that protest video. And we'll take some of your comments about the speech. But I'm trying to get this video on the screen for you. So give me one moment here. Hang on, folks. Hang on. Here, right here. Oops. You'll see it in a second. You'll see it in 1 second. Live video of protesters in D.C. surrounded by police. So we have protesters surrounded by police, and while Netanyahu leaves the house, let me just do this real quick. Let me get this small here. Okay, we have some protesters and police. Look at this. Protesters and police.
The purpose of the joint meeting having been completed, the chair declares the joint meeting of the two houses now dissolved. The House will continue in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Let me fix the headline here. Sorry. All right, so hey, I want to take a few comments from you guys as we watch this footage here. Netanyahu speaking to Congress. What did you guys think about the speech? Oops. I don't want to keep an eye on the protests. A quick thank you to all of our moderators. I really appreciate our moderators in our chat rooms. This is from AFP, this footage, by the way. Thanks to all of our moderators. Ruth Krafasi is moderating right now. Thank you so much, Ruth. Linda Belk and Larry on X. Over on Twitch, Big Ball of Yarn, David Green, I Got That Fire, Sarah, Papa Bear, and Surly Dev. Thanks to Charlotte Webb moderating on Facebook as well. Thank you so much. I think the police are maybe taking somebody to custody. I can't tell, though, for sure. Whoa. I don't know if that's like tear gas or what. I don't know what's going on. A quick thank you to Martin Gingrich, Vanessa, thanks for your support, Callie, Michael Jones, Andrew Schlegel, thank you, Amwise4, Haniel Vargas, Denise Miller, Jojo777JLD, Marty2003, thanks for your support for the channel. Also, XXCoo, Darth Slothis, Relila, thank you for your support of the channel. We're gonna keep an eye on this for a second, just see what's going on here. I'll take some of your comments shortly, but I want to just keep an eye on what's going on here. Sorry, I'll try to read some more comments too. Just sorry, I wanted you guys to see the footage right after the wanted to go to. Are they losing their shot? We'll see. Is there live? They say stand by. It says stand by. Well, in the meantime, while they're waiting to get their shot back, let me go to me, and then let me take some of your comments on the air. So, Netanyahu, I think, my guess is if you've seen him speak before, you weren't that surprised with the tone he took. Very critical of the protesters, by the way, Netanyahu. Critical of critics of Israel, I think you could say from his speech. Ryan Minot thought it was a very strong speech. Do I have footage back? Hold on. No, I'm waiting to get the footage back. If we get the footage back, I'll put it up on the screen. Oh, you know what was interesting? I did see a report from Andrew Solander, who is with Axios, and he reported that around half of Democrats in the Senate and around half of Democrats in the House did not attend the speech. Kamala Harris did not attend the speech, by the way. But Andrew said around half of congressional Democrats did not attend the speech. Let's see here. Wickedest Witch says Netanyahu is an effective communicator whether I like what he is trying to communicate to us or not. Lady Trucker thought it was a very powerful speech. I don't have protest footage at the moment. We lost our feed for the moment. Scholarly Treasures thinks America has become a puppet of the Jewish lobby. Wow, that's from Scholarly Treasures, our viewer. Cheryl Simpson thinks he insulted people in the House of the USA and they allowed it to happen. ZZ Fly thought it was a great speech, 10 of 10. I thought he met or was going to meet with Biden. Let me see here, though. Yes, so according to... He's going to meet with Biden tomorrow. He's going to meet with Biden tomorrow, according to Politico. All right. And also, he's going to meet with Trump on Friday. And he's going to meet with Kamala Harris in a separate meeting. So tomorrow he's going to meet with Biden in one meeting. Oh, I got the video back. Biden in one meeting, Harris in another meeting, and then he's going to meet with Trump on Friday. Hey, thanks Walter Beasley for your support. I appreciate it, Walter. Walter thinks the Israeli military operation is a failure because he believes half of Hamas is still there. Thanks, Walter, for your support. Thank you, Pixel Panda, for your support. Michael Jones for being a new member. So we're watching a bit of footage of protesters in D.C. here. The New York Times says Netanyahu stuck to familiar talking points. He did say that Israel was not looking to resettle Gaza, but that Israel wanted to maintain security control over Gaza, at least for the time being. Thanks, Big Bad Batch, for becoming a member. Yes, Biden will be speaking live tonight from the Oval Office, talking about, one thing he's going to talk about is why he decided to not run, and also his, as he says, his plans to finish the job. So we will have coverage tonight live of Biden's remarks from the Oval Office. He's going to be speaking at 8 Eastern Time, and we'll come on sometime before then. Oh, you can see some police there. Stephen 2024, our viewer, liked the speech and liked when he talked about the IDF heroes. Our viewer, now, by the way, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib held up a sign that said, I believe it said war criminal on one side, and on the other it said, what did it say on the other side? Guilty of genocide. She was a congresswoman. She was she was at the speech. Our viewer, Navinix, wrote, why isn't the rest of the squad with Rashida Tlaib holding that sign? I'd rather them be present and show dissent than make it seem like there's no dissent at all. Well, about half of Democrats in Congress did not attend the speech. Thank you to Jared Lutjabor for your support, and Walter Beasley. Thank you again, Walter. Very kind of you, all your support, Walter. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh yes, as Evelyn in Maine pointed out, Elon Musk was there. I believe Elon Musk was there as a guest of Netanyahu. Yes, Elon Musk was at the speech as a guest of Netanyahu. They're burning. They looks like they're burning. Is that a? I can't. Is that supposed to be Netanyahu? Is that like a paper mache Netanyahu on fire? It looks like there. It says one of them says Bibi must hang. We don't appreciate the call. We don't like calls for violence here. I'm going to turn it down because there's some music playing, so I got to be careful with the music playing. But they are burning at this protest. Again, I think that's supposed to be Netanyahu. No, somebody said it's Nixon. It kind of looked like Nixon, but I don't know why they'd be burning a Nixon. So that's why I was thinking it's supposed to be Netanyahu. I mean, I might be wrong. I don't know why they'd bother with a Nixon. Given that there's other signs complaining about Bibi and that Netanyahu is speaking, that would be my guess as who it's supposed to be. One of our viewers said, its eyebrows are a giveaway, it's Netanyahu. So I just got to be careful with the music. Some loud music is playing there. So, but you can see the scene there where they're still burning that looks like maybe like a, again, paper mache Netanyahu head, possibly. Let me see if I have any other updates for you. Oh, Kevin Fry says this is in front of Union Station, blocks from the U.S. Capitol building. This is out. He said it's outside of Union Station in D.C. or near Union Station. Maybe I can call this up on my Google Maps. Yeah, sorry, the music is really loud. I gotta keep an eye on the music. Let's see here. I'm looking on Google Maps right now to see if I can figure out exactly where they're standing. I'll see if I can figure it out. Union Station, says Belinda. But Union Station is just a few blocks from the Capitol. It's just a few blocks from the Capitol where this is going on, if we have the right location. Sorry, that music is just so loud. I gotta be careful with the music again. Hang on a moment here. Oh, the White House briefing is live. Hang on a second. Thanks for the heads up. Maybe I'll show some of the White House briefing. Hang on. Let me just take a second here.
Policing Act to his desk so he can sign it. I also wanted to...
Let me just do this. I'll put it in the corner. We'll have both of them up. I don't know that I'm going to play the whole briefing, guys. I got to eat something shortly. We've been on the air all day. But let me just throw this up there so you can hear it.
As the president said in his statement on Saturday, she spoke truth to power and represented the power of the people of her district in Houston with dignity and grace. Both the president and the vice president shared the honor of working with her during their times in Congress. We at the White House joined the president and the vice president and their families in sending our love and condolences to the Congresswoman's family, her constituents, and beloved colleagues of the Congressional Black Caucus. Later this evening, after the president's speech, First Lady Jill Biden will travel to Paris, France, to lead the U.S. presidential delegation to the opening of the Paris.
By the way, that is Union Station. They're right in front of Union Station in D.C. The protesters are a few blocks from the Capitol, but we just saw Union Station there.
Various events. The First Lady previously led the U.S. delegation to the opening of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, which were held in the summer of 2021 due to COVID-19. And finally, as you all know, and certainly are tracking, what we saw from the president the last couple of days is what we have seen from him over the last several decades. Human decency, patriotism, a good man who puts the American people ahead of himself. As the president said in his letter this past Sunday, it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. As a member of his team and as an American, I am proud of this president's record. He's accomplished more in nearly one term than most presidents have in 2 terms. The president remains focused on fighting for the American people and building on the historic progress his administration has made. He's focused on growing the middle class instead of delivering big giveaways to corporations and the ultra-wealthy, fighting to lower costs for families instead of raising them by threatening to cut critical programs like Social Security, fighting for a fairer tax system instead of championing a $2 trillion tax bill that overwhelmingly benefited the ultra-wealthy, making healthcare more accessible and more affordable instead of working to eliminate the Affordable Care Act, strengthening and growing NATO, not eliminating it, and fighting for our reproductive freedom, not working to take it away. You will hear directly from President Biden when he addresses the nation tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight, the president will discuss his historic decision to put the country above all else and about the inflection point we face as a country in this moment. This is one of those rare moments in history when the decisions we make will determine the future of our nation. America must choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division. He signed historic, monumental pieces of legislation into law and has worked across party lines to get a lot of them done. From jumpstarting a historic economic recovery to the largest investment in clean energy and climate action, gun safety, and more. The president is proud to have delivered these historic results for the American people, and he's going to use the remainder of his term to build on this progress for the future with the enduring faith he has in our nation. And so, therefore, I encourage all Americans to tune in tonight to hear directly from the president. Zeke?
Thanks, Karine. The president believes that it's best for the country that he not be in the Oval Office for another 4 years. How can you assure the American people that he's up to be in the office for the next 6 months?
Well, first I would say is that and I've heard these suggestions out there. This is not an answer to you. This is an answer to the suggestions that I've had. I've heard about him resigning from office. We believe, and any suggestion of that note is ridiculous. It is not what we believe. The president, I just laid out what the president has been able to do in almost 4 years, and it's been successful. He's been able to do more, again, than any president has been able to do in 2 terms. He's been able to do that more in 1 term. And he wants to finish the job that he started and delivering more historic results for the American people. And look, he didn't step down from campaigning or from running because he didn't believe he can serve in a 2nd term. That is not why. And what I would say, as I just finished my opening, I would say tune in. Tune into what he has to say tonight, and he will lay that out for you all and the American people as to why he made that decision.
So you're saying he believes that he's capable of serving another 4 years, but he just doesn't believe that he can win another 4 years?
I will let the president speak for himself.
And so today, the president believes that he is capable, fully capable of serving in the office that he currently has now and for the next 4.5 years if he wanted to.
Absolutely. And let me just quote from what he said on Sunday in his letter. He said, "It is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." And what the decision that he made on Sunday was about putting country first, was about his party, and was about the American people. Again, I would refer you to what he's going to say tonight. He will lay that out, speak for himself, and you will hear directly from the from the president. The American people will insert you as
Just
well.
on a different topic, there's
Sure.
large protests taking place in Washington. The White House is now ringed by anti-crime fencing. The Capitol, there's some protests around Union Station. Is the president monitoring these protests? Does he have a message to the people who are demonstrating right now?
So it's basically what we have said for some time. We respect the right for all Americans to peacefully protest. And obviously we will continue to strongly condemn any form of violence as it relates certainly to protesting or destruction of property. We've been very, very clear. But Americans have the right to peacefully protest. Anything that is related to what's happening outside of this campus, the fencing, as you just mentioned to me, that's something for Secret Service to speak to directly.
Is he watching the protests?
I mean, the president is he's always kept up to date on what's going on. Right now he's certainly having meetings today with his senior advisors and other senior staff. I can't speak if he's right now watching the protests. Obviously, he's kept up to date into what's happening. But what I can say right now, we respect everyone's right to peacefully protest. We understand that this is a painful moment for many, many communities, but obviously, we're going to continue to strongly condemn any form of violence or any destruction of property. That is something we've been consistent on. Go ahead, Nancy.
Thanks, Green. You read the president's statement where he said that it's in the country's best interest for him to step aside. Why is it in the country's best interest for him to step aside? Does it have to do with his health or
it does not have to do? They have nothing to do with his health. Again, the president's going to speak to this directly to the American people tonight in prime time. I know many of you all will be watching it. There are specials going on tonight. I promise you, he will speak to this directly to all of you tonight. But in his letter, he talked about the country, he talked about the party, he talked about the moment that we're in right now. It is not about his health. I can say no, that's not the reason, but hear him out tonight.
And the president denied for weeks, and you denied for weeks, that he was even thinking of stepping aside. What changed from all those days that he had that message to Sunday?
So look, he's going to address this as well this evening. Let him speak for himself. But here's what I will say. And I think we gave a little bit of a TikTok to all of you. He met with a small group of advisors on Saturday evening and with his family, and was thinking through how to move forward. Sunday afternoon, he made that decision. It was in a very short period of time, as you can imagine. And then at 1:45, he got on the phone with some of his assistants to the president, some advisors. He let them know, and then minutes later, a letter went out. So it was in a very short period of time that the president was able to think about this and make a decision. But I would say again, the president's going to address the American people. You will hear directly from him tonight.
Can you talk a little bit more about how he's feeling after making such an extraordinary decision, like you said, making it quickly? Yeah. Did he feel bullied to leave the race?
I'm going to let the president speak for himself. Look, this, I mean, it's obviously is a historic moment, but a decision like this is very personal. It's not easy to make. And I think there are very rare politicians who could look at the situation and make a decision, right? And I think it speaks to how honorable this president is, how selfless this president is, that he was able to make this decision and say, it is not about me, it is about the American people, it is about the country, and make, again, a personal, difficult decision. And so I think that speaks for itself. I really do. I think that speaks for itself. And in the letter, as you all know, he said that he wanted to address the American people, was going to give remarks about his decision. And now we've come to that day where he's going to speak directly to the American people later tonight. And he's going to lay out what it is that he wants to say, what he believes the American people want to hear directly from him.
Just switching gears a little bit to
Sure.
Netanyahu's remarks on Capitol Hill. We've heard Republicans voicing serious criticism against the vice president for not being there. Her team insisting that it was a scheduling conflict. But how do you respond to that? What does it say about her priorities, the administration's priorities, that she was not there?
So let me just first say that the Vice President has been unwavering in her commitment to security of Israel. As you know, she's been a partner with this president for the past 4 years, not just domestic issues, but obviously also foreign policy issues. She's going to meet with the Prime Minister, Bibi Netanyahu, when he's here. And so, again, has been a critical partner in ensuring that Israel can defend itself. And to secure hostage deal, as you know, the president, we've been talking about that for some time, making sure that we have this hostage deal. She's been a partner in that. And that's what I can certainly say, that she continues to be supportive to Israel, making sure that Israel's security is ironclad, as we have been, as the partner, as the president has been. And she's going to meet with the Prime Minister.
Given the historic nature of Kamala Harris being the top of the ticket, does the president have any regrets about the way that he handed this enormous responsibility off in such a, unusual, shortened, kind of truncated fashion, not having her have a normal ascendancy to that top position?
Oh, I mean, the president has no regrets. Has no regrets. Let's not forget, the vice president obviously has been vice president for more than 4 years. I do not see anyone who is more qualified to step in this moment, right? She was a senator, she was an attorney general, she's been a partner to this president, a critical partner, as I've said. I've listed out what we've been able to accomplish in the last 3.5, almost 4 years, an unprecedented record. She was a partner in that to the president. And so, look, this is, again, a decision that this president made, and I think he is proud to have made that decision. I know so. You saw it in what he has been able to say since Sunday. He's going to be on camera later today, obviously, to address the American people from the Oval Office because of this moment and how big this moment is. He wants to do that. He wants to make sure that Americans hear directly from him again after putting out the letter on Sunday.
And if you could distill just into a few kind of bite-sized pieces, what specific policies, actions, does the president want to get done in these last few months?
So he certainly wants to build on what we've been able to do. You heard me say this has been certainly what he's been able to accomplish in the four years in this first term is more than we have seen in presidents who have done 8, many presidents who have done 8. And he is going to be known as a consequential president of his time. And so he's going to continue to build on those successes. I mean, let's not forget, if it wasn't for the American Rescue Plan, we wouldn't be able to get out of the pandemic. We wouldn't be able to open up schools. We wouldn't be able to open up businesses wouldn't be able to open up again. There's the Inflation Reduction Act, which was also an incredibly important piece of legislation if you think about climate change and dealing with that. If you think about if you think about being able to beat Big Pharma, you think about the infrastructure legislation, which was done in a bipartisan way. This president was able to get that done. CHIPS and Science Act, again, a bipartisan way. This president was able to reach across the aisle and get that done. You think about NATO, making that stronger and bigger. I mean, there are many ways. I'm just naming a few things that the president's been able to do. Look, both of them, the president and vice president, are proud to have delivered these historic results, and we're going to continue to figure out ways on how to build on this progress. So that's going to be his focus. We will have a lot more to share. I'm not going to name out policies at this time, but you certainly will hear from this president. He's going to run through the finish line.
No concerns about being a lame duck.
We don't see ourselves as a lame duck president at all. In this period of time, this is a president that has been incredibly successful, and he's going to do everything that he can to continue to fight for the American people. I would say stay tuned. Watch.
Thank you, Karine. I have two questions, one on the vice president and then one on the president's decision. First, it's clear that President Biden and Vice President Harris have met regularly, including their standing lunches from the outset of the administration. But I'm wondering now, since he made his decision, if there are any plans to increase the cadence of those interactions, or if he plans to include her in more of his policy-making processes. How will that relationship and that involvement change?
So what I can say is the president and the vice president speak regularly. They see each other regularly. You named some ways of how they've been able to do that, to stay in touch and see each other in person. Look, the president is committed to being president and leading this country forward in the way that he believes that Americans want to see this country moving forward. And the vice president's going to continue to be a critical partner. Nothing's going to change in that. But they're going to continue to engage, interact, and have important conversations as it relates to policies and moving forward. That's not going to stop. And I'll leave it there.
And on the timing of his decision, it's now been widely reported that when Senator Chuck Schumer went to visit with the president in Rehoboth a week ago Saturday, that President Biden said, I need another week. What did he need another week for?
So here, I'll say this. They had a very good conversation, the president and Senator Schumer. I'm not going to go into their private conversation. I'm not going to go into particulars, but it was a good conversation.
You said it was a very short time frame in which the president was
in making that decision, right? When he started thinking about it and making that decision, it started Saturday evening, and on Sunday afternoon, he made his decision.
But it sounds like he was presented with data a week prior.
I'm just not going to get into specifics. It started Saturday evening. The next afternoon, which was Sunday afternoon, he made that decision. A small group of advisors, including family, was with him on Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon he made the decision. That's how it happened. That's how he came to announcing it.
And on the messaging to us, to the press corps, it's been 9 days since there's been a briefing. The president obviously published his letter officially on Sunday, withdrawing from the race. Why go on television to make your first comments about that decision rather than make
I appreciate that. We've always had a protocol here. When the president's not here, we don't do a briefing. That's just the way that we've always it's always happened. The interview that I did yesterday was on the books for about 2-3 weeks. It was way before the president made his decision. That's it. Yeah. Okay.
Did the president exit the race because he didn't think he could defeat Donald Trump in November?
I'm not going to get into specific details of his thoughts. I would say tune in to tonight when he speaks directly to the American people. You'll hear what he thinks about his decision. He said in his letter that he wanted to address the American people about this decision that he made on Sunday. I would tune into that, and you'll hear directly from him.
And also similar to some of the questions my colleagues have asked, for weeks, people from this podium and other top spokespeople for the president were adamant that there was no way he was dropping out. Just in terms of credibility moving forward, I'm curious if you guys could just address that.
I mean, I kind of addressed it a couple times of the president's decision making. When folks from my team, folks from this White House said that he wasn't going to drop out or he was not planning to drop out, that's where we were. That's where we were in that time. That is the guidance that we had.
I mean, it's not about you guys not receiving the proper guidance.
Tyler, on Saturday night, he met with a small group of advisors and his family, and that's when the decision started. Sunday afternoon, he made the final decision. That's where we were. And we've talked about this. This was a dynamic situation. It was. This is a historic moment. You have to, that is true. And it was for the president to come to that decision. When we told you all that the president, you heard from the president, he's not going to drop out. And he actually addressed it himself, not just us. There were multiple events, multiple opportunities where the president said he's in it. So you heard directly from him multiple times after the debate. You know, the president, again, met with a small group of advisors on Saturday. Sunday, he made his final decision. That's how it worked. That's how it happened.
We'll get a better sense from him about what went into that decision-making.
I would tune in tonight. I would let the president speak for himself in this moment.
Given the level of support the vice president has received from lawmakers, other Democrats, donors, the party in general, has the president expressed any sentiment that maybe he should have made his decision sooner and given her a longer timeline?
What I will say is this was a difficult decision to make, a personal decision to make, and the president made it. And I will leave it as that.
Has he given any advice at this point to the vice president in her process of picking a running mate?
They speak regularly. They speak often. Obviously, they've spoken a couple of times. And I'm not going to get into their private discussions. Okay.
Is the Vice President or her staff going to be more closely involved in the day-to-day operations of the administration, given that she's now the
I kind of got this question moments ago. Nothing more to add. Where the Vice President's been a critical partner. She's been played an important role to a lot of decisions that have been made in the past 3.5 years. That's not going to change. And the president has always obviously appreciated her policy savvy, her ideas, her thoughts, and that's going to continue. And
say now,
look, the president is still president. You know, he's still very much commander-in-chief. He's still very much the president of the United States, and he's still very much going to lead this country in the way, in the direction that he believes is right. Is the right way to do it. So that doesn't change. That's not going to change.
And just make sure I understood your answer earlier. They have spoken about the VP selection specifically, or the
VP selection. That is something obviously I can't speak to. The campaign side could speak to. What I can say is I heard the question as giving advice to the vice president in any way, right? They've spoken many times. I'm just not going to get into private conversation. The VP pick specifically, anything related to that, obviously the campaign can speak to that more if you want more details.
But Vice President Harris won't have extra staff in meetings that wouldn't normally be there for some sort of overlap transition.
I would say that nothing is going to change. The president is the president of the United States. He's going to continue to lead, lead this administration the way that he sees fit. They are partners. They are partners. They have been. She's been, again, a critical partner in some of the big items that we've been able to get done on behalf of this country. Obviously, she's going to play a role as she has done in the past.
Did you watch the Prime Minister's speech?
That just ended not too long after I came out here. I have not talked to the president about this, if he was able to catch some of the Prime Minister's speech. Obviously, they're going to, as you know, they're going to be meeting here at the White House. Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu and the president is going to be meeting here tomorrow.
Thanks, Green. This was a White House that was operating obviously with an eye towards the next 6 months, but also thinking it might have 4 more years to serve as well. I know it's early, but can you talk through whether there's been any sort of new direction about how this White House will operate, given that you only have this short amount of time left? And obviously the president was also balancing a re-election campaign at the same time. Does this free him up? Are there considerations being given to what else he might be able to do that he might not have?
So, don't have any policy announcements to make at this time. The president is going to continue to do what he has set out to do for the next several months, even while he was indeed running for re-election, which is pretty consistent, building on the accomplishment he's been able to get done. That's going to be really important. He's going to look at this remainder of his term, and there's going to be important issues that he wants to get done. Don't have anything right now to lay out, but we want to continue to build on those accomplishments. We've gotten a lot of things done, whether it's healthcare, whether it's the economy, whether it's manufacturing, right? We want to continue to build on that. And so the president is determined. He is determined to get that done.
One of the first major initiatives that the president asked the vice president to lead was to oversee the diplomatic work with Central American countries as it relates to flows of migration. The House Rules Committee yesterday approved a resolution that will go to a vote of the full House, strongly condemning the Biden administration and its orders are the vice president for failure to secure the border. Do you have a response to that? And how would the president characterize what he views as the vice president's accomplishments in terms of overseeing that portfolio?
I mean, look, as we speak, you have congressional Republicans, they continue with their month-long blockade of critical resources that we need for the border. Whether it's ICE, Border Patrol, and this is what they've been doing. This is what they've been doing. Let's not forget the bipartisan, a really tough, important bipartisan piece of legislation or a deal that came out of the Senate that we were able to get done, and they got in their own way. They got in their own way because they listened to the former president, because they thought it would help Joe Biden. So they continue to block critical resources. That's what they have done for the past 3.5 years. The president is looking for ways to fund security funding to get to the border, right? And he's done that in a record way. And so we're going to continue to fight to make sure that the Border Patrol agents get what they need and get more personnel, thousands of new personnel at the border. That's what we're going to do. The president announced new decisive executive orders to secure the border. Unlawful crossings have dropped by more than 50%. And that's the president acting without Congress by 50%. They are now lowered at this point than they were in 2019 and lower than when the former president left office. And the president's doing that on his own. On his own. They get in the way, he finds other ways to make things happen. That's been the story of this administration.
One more question. Obviously, the Secret Service director resigned yesterday. I'm also curious if there is any consideration to increasing the security around the vice president now, and whether the resources of the Secret Service are affected by that in that decision as well.
Yeah, that's something for the Secret Service to speak to. That's something for the Vice President's campaign to speak to. I don't have anything to add on that as it relates to protection. Okay.
How are you doing with all of this, Corinne?
You care about how I feel?
Are you going to stick around for a potential President Harris administration?
Oh my goodness, let me just get through the day. Can I just get through today?
I do have some other questions.
No, I think that's good. I think we're good. I think we're good.
Great.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, thank you.
I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, you guys haven't had a press briefing since President Biden dropped out of the race. So.
The president hasn't been here. He just got here yesterday. And now I'm here taking your questions.
Thank you.
And I've taken about 3 or 4 at this point from you alone.
Well, it would seem that people in this White House knew that President Biden was slipping. And it was hidden from the American people. So who ordered White House officials to cover up a declining president?
I know that that is a narrative that you love. And
well,
no, wait,
10 days.
hold on.
He did a press conference at NATO. I'm in it. There's all these things that I need to finish. And then 10 days later, I'm dropping out.
Okay, wait, okay, you're asking me like multiple questions here. Let me, wait. First of all, there's been no cover-up. I want to be very clear about that. I know that's the narrative that you all want. Wait, no, you can't. Okay.
I've been with President Biden for 5 years.
Are you going to let me answer the question?
Would you at least admit that the debate was not just a bad night?
Wait, can I answer the question?
Yes.
All right. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. To your first question, it is not a cover-up. I know that is the narrative that you all want. It is not. I'm going to say this again, and you're going to hear directly from the president. I hope you listen tonight. I think it's going to be incredibly powerful and important. The Oval Office, presidents, as you know, when they make speeches from the Oval Office, it's because there are important moments that they want to directly make sure that the American people hear from them. And it's obviously going to be done in prime time. I would listen to the president. And then what I will say is that it is not easy making a decision that the president made on Sunday. It is just not. It is not. And as you all reported, it is historic. It is unusual. This is not the norm. And making a decision like that for someone who has been in public service for 54 years, U.S. Senator for 36, President to Vice President to President Obama for 8, and now a first term as president himself. These are not easy decisions to make. They're just not. And so the fact that he was able to make that decision in a selfless way, that's admirable.
One of the decisions he made, President Biden wants Vice President Harris to be the standard bearer of the party now. Does she still want to get rid of ICE?
You have seen what this administration has been able to do in the past 3.5 years, and they did that with the vice president as a partner in that. And Republicans got in the way. The president went around Republicans and was able to get thousands of personnel at the border. And now we are seeing a 50% drop at the border. And that's because of what this president has done.
As a partner, though, she's been in charge of root causes of migration for years. She has never spoken to the Border Patrol Chief, Jason Owens, or the Border Patrol Chief before him, Raul Ortiz. What should that tell us about her leadership style?
She was supposed to be doing root causes, dealing with diplomacy. Diplomacy. Wait, diplomacy. That's what her job was supposed to be. Diplomatic. That's the job. And I understand that you're asking these questions, but we should also look at congressional Republicans who got in the way. Literally got in the way of everything that this president was trying to do to deal with the border. They got in the way. They would say one thing and then they would change their mind. They would say, we want Border Patrol, we want, we want a deal on what's happening at the border, and then they would walk away from it. And they did it because of what the former president said. You guys reported that. That's not coming from me. Some of your colleagues reported that the former president said, let's not move forward with this proposal because it's going to help Joe Biden. I mean, that's also the reality. You got to talk about both sides here. Good.
Great.
This is.
I get that you're not going to give us. I get that you might have.
Okay. Yeah. No, go ahead, Peter.
One more. I get that you don't probably want to give.
It's good to see you too, James.
A specific name, but were there any names that came forward that surprised you of Democratic officials in the last week who stabbed President Biden in the back?
I don't have anything else to say. Go ahead, April.
I'll come in really fast. 2 questions.
Yep.
One on Sonia Massey. This is something that's continued to happen. The president, before he even became president, was really pushing after the George Floyd death, police-involved death.
Yeah.
What is the lesson learned, I guess, if you will? He couldn't get it through Congress, but he did come up with federal executive orders and efforts. But what is the lesson learned from this moment that continues to happen that I guess Kamala Harris might have to start dealing with as well if she becomes president?
I mean, when you say lesson learned, meaning?
How could you have done something differently, or what could you have done to maybe change the dynamic?
So, I think got to step back for a second here. The president has been able to reach across the aisle and get a lot of things done. He has. Gun legislation, the first bipartisan gun legislation that we saw in decades. That was important. And there's issues that, infrastructure legislation, was able to get that done. He reached over across the line and got bipartisan support. So we have seen this president and this vice president be very successful in doing that. There are been some issues that have been a little harder, to your point, police reform. And what the president did was when that wasn't able to get done in a bipartisan way in Congress, he took an executive order to deal with it on the federal law enforcement level. And that was a step that he was able to take. And he's going to continue. It doesn't stop. You heard me mention the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act probably 2 or 3 times at the top, because it's important to use our platform, to use this podium, to continue to call for what we believe is right. There's always going to be lessons in how people govern and decisions that we made here, but there's also been a lot of success. And when action wasn't happening in Congress, the president took action. The president took action.
So as you said, you mentioned this at the top, emphasizing this heinous death and how it happened. But is this something that the president hopes? I mean, it was one of his passion projects.
In 2020, for
Yes.
sure. Absolutely.
Does the president hope that if Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States, that she could champion this and that she could get what he couldn't get done?
Absolutely. For sure. Absolutely. This is an important issue for this president. He's going to do everything that he can, you know, with the rest of his term to get this done. He's still going to work on this. It doesn't stop. Go ahead, Michael.
A few days before the president announced his withdrawal from the race, he said that he was going to be rolling out proposals for Supreme Court reform. Is he still committed to that?
Look, the president believes that when you hold a high office, you should be held by a certain ethics and transparency. That's something that the president believes. And so he certainly will continue to do everything that he can. I don't have any policy announcements to make at this moment today in front of you, but once we certainly will share that.
And just secondly, has the president spoken with former President Obama since making the decision?
No calls to read out. Okay.
Thank you. I have a foreign policy related question. President Biden will be one of the few sitting presidents since the establishment of U.S.-China relations not to visit China during his tenure. Could you please explain the reasoning behind this decision? Isn't this a missed opportunity?
So, you heard from the National Security Advisor himself many times when we've talked about our relationship with China. It's been very deliberate in our strategy and our approach to our relationship with China, very deliberate. And as you've heard us say many, many times, again, I mentioned the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, we're pursuing competition without conflict. That has been our goal from day one of this administration. You know, the president, as you know, met in a bilateral fashion with President Xi just last November, as you know, in California, with that goal in mind. Again, we want competition without conflict. So we have also had a number of cabinet secretaries. We've spoken to that, whether it is Secretary Blinken or the Treasury Secretary. They've had travels to China over the past several years and many more. And so, look, we're going to continue to have these high-level officials travel there to China to continue to have those conversations. But we have been incredibly deliberate with our strategy. Again, competition without conflict, that's how we're moving forward.
There are still a few months left.
Yeah.
Will there still be opportunity?
Say that last part, would there still be
A chance he may go abroad?
I don't have anything to share about foreign travel, but we have been very deliberate with our strategy. We believe it's worked, and we're going to continue to move forward in that fashion. Go ahead, Danny.
Thanks, Green. The president said that he wants to push for a Gaza ceasefire in his last 6 months in office, but Prime Minister Netanyahu just gave a pretty uncompromising speech to Congress, and that just a day before he comes here to the White House. Does the president really believe that Netanyahu sounds like a man who's likely to go for a peace deal?
So let me just say a couple of things. I do want to give our reaction to the Prime Minister's speech. So we appreciate Prime Minister Netanyahu for thanking President Biden for his unwavering support for Israel and his efforts to secure the release of the hostages. President Biden looks forward to meeting the Prime Minister here tomorrow to discuss developments in Gaza, including negotiations on a ceasefire deal and the humanitarian situation on the ground. And my colleagues in the 4 o'clock hour is going to, at the NSC, is going to hold a press call where they're going to address additional questions regarding the Prime Minister's address and also his visit. So I would certainly tune in. You'll hear more from them directly. Look, they're going to meet tomorrow. The president has always been clear on how he sees the future, a two-state solution. He's always supported that. That's something that he's going to continue to speak to. They're going to have a conversation tomorrow. The president looks forward to that. The vice president's also going to have a meeting with the prime minister tomorrow. And so I'll leave it there. But the National Security Council is going to be doing a press call, so I would certainly refer you to any further questions that you may have on the visit.
I've got no sense of whether he does have any confidence that this is really an achievable goal in his last 6 months.
I believe that the president is optimistic. This is a president that believes that anything could happen if you stay focused, if you work hard towards it. So he's going to be optimistic. The work continues, and that's not going to stop him for sure. Yeah, Jerry.
Given that you've had a lot of questions about the president's agenda here over the next 6 months, I'm curious, does the president believe that some of what he'd like to get through Congress between now and the end of the year is made easier if he's not a candidate?
I don't quite understand the question because he's not on the.
Does he think that it'll be easier, harder, the same to kind of get some of these things that he's been struggling to get through Congress through now?
Well, first of all, this has been the fact that the president has gotten this much done, right? The historic pieces of legislation. Wait, hold on. You guys got to give me a second to answer to actually warm up into the answer. So look. The president has gotten a lot done. Historic amount of legislation passed. Historic pieces of legislation passed, and that wasn't done with an easy political climate, right? It's not. I mean, I think you could agree with me there. And so, look, we're going to have more to share on what the next several months, the final several months of his term, is going to look like. We will share that. The president wants to continue to build on those historic initiatives that he was able to get done. This has not been an easy political climate, and some of that work he did it in a bipartisan way. And when he wasn't able to get it done in a bipartisan way, he found policy ways to do that in executive action, and we've been able to be successful, whether it's the border, right? Whether it's trying to get things done on the student loan side. There's been ways that the president has been very focused on making sure we're delivering on the initiatives, on the goals that we set out to do in the beginning of this administration. That doesn't stop. Go ahead.
Erin, I have two questions, domestic and foreign policy. On domestic, was there any reason why the president did not endorse the vice president in the first week? It took like a while, maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, look, the first meeting.
The first tweet was he withdrawing from the race, but he did not say clearly that he is endorsing her.
From the letter to the
letter that he
statement.
sent.
To the tweet.
Yeah.
There was a half hour.
It was
30 minutes. Because it was a 30 minutes? You're questioning a 30-minute window?
Because no, I'm not questioning. I'm just asking if there was a reason.
I mean, look, he put out a letter to the American people about a decision that he had made. That deserved a standalone letter, I believe, right? A decision, an important historic decision. He wanted to do that and speak directly to the American people. That's why he did the letter. And then obviously 30 minutes later, you got the endorsement. That's not a significant amount, but it's not a significant amount of time. I think if you look at the letter, you see that he was truly trying to lay down the decision, a very weighty decision, and he wanted to say that directly to the American people.
Fair enough. You explain it now.
Thank you for approving that answer.
Question of foreign policy, just to follow up on
Sure.
this question. What message does the administration send to the world when we see the White House is barricaded in anticipation of Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit here? Considering that the ICC found a reasonable ground to indict him as a war criminal, and 70% of Israelis want him to step down.
So look, I can't speak to Israelis. That's I'm not going to speak to domestic politics. I think we've been very clear on our feelings about ICC and their recommendation, something that we do not agree on. We've been very clear about that. Look, when it comes to what we're seeing outside, as you said, the barricades and such, that's something for Secret Service to speak to. They can speak to why they feel that it's needed. That is not for me to speak to. But it doesn't change the fact that we believe in the right for all Americans to peacefully protest. That is something that we've always been very clear about. It is the right of all Americans to peacefully protest. And we understand that this is an incredibly painful moment for many communities, and we respect that. And also, in that same vein, we're going to strongly condemn any type of violence or destruction of property. That is something that we've been very clear about as well. But peacefully protest, that's something that we support. I can't speak to, there's reasons why the Secret Service is deciding to do that. That is for them to speak to directly. Okay.
Markel.
Hi, thank you, Karine, very much. Karine, you were saying how difficult was this decision for President Biden. What is his mood since he took this decision, and what will be the tone of the address tonight? Also, what did he decide to do from the Oval Office? I wonder if he's going to do any campaigning from...
So a couple of things. Look, I saw the president not too long ago, a couple of hours ago. He's determined. He's in good spirits. He wants to speak directly to the American people tonight. That is his focus. He is doing it from the Oval Office because, as many of you all reported, and we agree with all of you, this is an important moment. This is a historic moment. And this decision was a big decision, was an important decision. And Oval Offices are used for moments that, I would say, moments like these that are historic. So he wants to do it from the Oval. He's going to do it in prime time. He's going to speak directly to the American people. I would say, again, tune in. You'll hear from what he has to say. And I think it's going to be important. I think it's going to be important.
Expect that he's going to ask people to vote for Harris from the Oval, or doing any kind of campaign?
It's going to be a speech. I believe, we believe, that is going to be important for the American people to hear directly from this president in this moment, in this historic moment. And I'm not going to get into details, get into specifics. I've said this many times from here, I'm not going to get ahead of the president. This is his opportunity to explain that decision and for the Americans people to listen in. So I know I got to go. Go ahead.
Thanks so much, Queen. Can you give us any more color about the preparation for the speech? Who's been helping the president write it? If he's been sounding, using anybody as a sounding board?
I'm not going to go into details. Obviously, this is a speech that the president's very deeply involved in. You don't use the Oval Office often. You use it for incredibly important moments. And that's what you're going to hear tonight. I'm just not going to get into specifics as to how the president is preparing. I will say this, obviously his senior advisors are always heavily involved. And this is a president that's taking this very seriously, very focused, like he does with any other speech. And so, tune in.
And can you say whether or not you'd be willing to have the president's doctor come to the podium, particularly given that the president does intend to serve out his term, and there have been a number of questions about, his fitness for office. Some of those questions could be settled if perhaps there's if his doctor would come to the podium, or if more medical records could be released.
You heard from the president's doctor, I believe, every day that he had COVID. He gave his assessment of what was going on, what was happening. There was a memo that was sent out to all of you. Obviously, the memo was given to me, and we shared it publicly. I don't have anything else. And you've heard me say this many times. There was an extensive medical evaluation that was done, physical that was done in February. You all have that. I just don't have anything else to share from here. All right, thanks everybody. I'll be back tomorrow.
All right, so we just watched the press briefing. Thanks for letting me know that just came on after the Netanyahu speech, so I figured we'd watch it. It was the first White House briefing after Biden announced he was not going to run. I need to, like the press secretary did, I need to wrap this up because we've been on nonstop since this morning. And I'm going to be coming on to cover Biden's speech tonight. And I need to eat something because I haven't eaten all day. So I got to wrap this up quickly because I'm hungry. But we're gonna come back on probably around 7 or so tonight. The speech is at 8. I don't have other protest footage, as I said in the chat. I don't have other protest footage. I would remind you that what happens sometimes is people will see clips online and they'll think, oh my gosh, it's going crazy at the protest, but you might be seeing clips of stuff that happened several hours ago. So just be aware, if somebody posts a clip of something on social media, it doesn't mean it's happening right now. I'm not, but I don't have any protest stuff I could show you anyway, even if I wanted to. Anyways, if there's huge news before then, we'll come back on the air. But for now, I'm going to wrap up this stream. Hey, by the way, I owe a thank you to Jared Scott. Thanks so much, Jared, for your support. I really appreciate that. And also Jock Demers. Thank you, Jock. And Lindsay Tribet and Jared Lujaboer and Callie. And also Game Hero 2. And Sonja Fasil over there on Twitch. I really appreciate your guys' support. So thank you for joining us for our live coverage today. We have been on all day because we covered the FBI hearing, the FBI director hearing, which might still be going on. You could go to YouTube and go to House Judiciary Committee. You might be able to catch the tail end of that FBI hearing with the FBI director hearing with the House Judiciary Committee, and we covered the Netanyahu speech, the protests. We were spending some time covering the protests before the speech and during the speech, and we covered the press briefing after, and we're going to be covering Biden speaking tonight, so I hope you can join us for that. I'm going to take a break and eat something, though. I really appreciate you joining. Subscribe, follow the channel, Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news here, Agenda Free TV, without an agenda. And make sure you turn on the notifications. We have a free notification system that we've created ourselves, so you get notified whenever we go live. It's really reliable, and it's free. So you might want to turn on the notifications. Free notifications, especially because I think with YouTube only sends out, I think, 2 notifications a day for live streaming, but we've already done two streams today. So there might be no YouTube notification for the 3rd stream tonight. So I would highly encourage you, turn on the Discord notifications. You don't have to have Discord. It's just we call them the Discord notifications because we do them through Discord. The mods will post the link to the free notifications in the chat. You can also find the notifications link in our YouTube and Facebook description for this broadcast, but make sure you have those on. But yeah, YouTube with live streaming channels, I think there's a limit of 2 a day. So there may be no YouTube notification tonight. So make sure you have another way of finding out. But we're definitely coming on the air. I want to give a big shout out to our moderators who have been here this morning and this afternoon and just been awesome as usual, letting you guys have a chat room to chat in. That is thanks to our moderators. Really appreciate it. Ruth Krafasi there right now. We've had a bunch of moderators on YouTube like RJ and Havasu Mom and many others there. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody right now. But thanks to all of our moderators and Linda Belk and Larry over there on X. Over there on Twitch, Big Ball of Yarn, I Got That Fire. Sarah, Papa Bear, Surly Dev, and all of our other Twitch moderators. Thank you so much. We've had Charlotte Webb and Margaret Riley and any other moderators I might be missing over there on Facebook. Big shout out to all of our moderators. Thank you, moderators. Thanks for letting us have chat rooms. Oh, thank you so much, Chef, for the gift membership. So nice of you. So nice of you guys to donate to this channel and allow this channel to stay on the air and to be a full-time news channel. So huge thanks to everybody who donated. I think I got everybody. I think I thanked everybody. But again, thank you so much, everybody who has donated during our streams today. And if you ever want to donate, you can go to agendafree.tv, agendafree.tv. But big thanks for your support of the channel. You can follow me on X for news updates when I'm not on the air. At Lookner on X is where you can follow me. At Lookner. There is the X account there, at Lookner. And at Agenda Free TV, I will post programming updates there. So, for example, I said a couple days ago I said yesterday that we'll be on the air today covering this stuff. So, for programming updates, follow at Agenda Free TV on X. Okay, and we will be back tonight to cover the Biden announcement, or the Biden address to the nation. So I hope you can join us for that. And big thanks to our Discord moderators. By the way, if you do go to that link to sign up for the Discord notifications, at that same link you can check out our Discord chat, which is free, where you can chat with other Agenda Free TV viewers in our Discord chat when we're not on the air. So you might want to check that out as well. A lot of our viewers like doing that. And if anybody's interested in being a volunteer moderator, that would be fantastic. You can just ask our mods for more information about that. I want to give a big shout out to quick reminder, if you do subscribe on YouTube and you want to turn the notifications on there, you got to do this thing where you click the notifications bell and you choose all notifications. Look, there's a bell See on YouTube, there's a bell here, and you click the bell and you choose all notifications. Also, reminder, I do have a personal channel on YouTube and Twitch. It's called Lookner on YouTube and Looknerd with a D on Twitch, same channel. And I do some non-news live streaming over there. Big thanks to our Facebook subscribers like Robert Rial II and Eve Richards and Margaret Riley and Jane Summers and Michael Clayton and Billy Joe Drage and all of our other our Facebook subscribers. Big thanks to all of you guys. And also our Twitch subscribers, such as Wall Street and Shaggy, A Moment of Lovely. Big thanks. XXCoo, Darth Slothis, Wall Street, Sarah, I Got That Fire, Gina Pina, Holistic, Cole K. Meister, Relila, thanks for subscribing. Thanks to NAMRRAC for chatting for the first time in Twitch. Thanks What Plants Crave for subscribing on Twitch. Big thanks. And thanks to all Oxytropus, all of our other subscribers on Twitch too. Thank you for all your support on Twitch. And also our YouTube members, thanks so much. People like Cupcake over there in France, PZ Papa Zulu, Barbs, Kenneth Garrow, UV Lightning, Roger Shoemaker, Kerry Poteet, The Lucky Minute, JC, Can Aiken, Jay Hitchcock, Libulula, Beth Chakama, thanks for being a YouTube member. Joe McD, Paula Faust, Roger Shoemaker, Princess Teapot. Oh, by the way, our viewer Joe Soul wrote in and said he thought Biden was going to resign tonight. I haven't heard any reporting saying that, Joe, but I appreciate you writing in with your comment. Thanks for watching and writing in, Joe Soul. Del Nimrod, thanks for being a member. Paula Faust, Evelyn in Maine, Pam Turner, Slug, PZ Papa Zulu, Justin King, Malez Bixie, D Donut. Thank you, members. Complex Pixel, Sea Turtle, and Lucky Minute, and Ronald Kame, and Pat Bev Street Guy, and who else? AC, John Gamble, Daredevil, Christine McPherson, Cruella, Stephen Elder, Apex Strategist. Thanks to all of our members. Thank you. Dizzy Dale, Dodger Blue, and all of our other members too, and all of our other viewers. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate all of our viewers and chatters. You guys are awesome. Thanks Orlando and G Fixler and RLDWPHPZA. G Fixler, how do you turn on Discord notifications? The mods will give you a link where you can set them up. All right. Princess Teapot, thanks for being a member. Thank you guys. All right, I must take a break. Iowa 1980, thanks for watching. Audrey Burbank, Ed Scarborough, all of our other Facebook viewers and Twitch viewers and YouTube viewers, thank you. All right, I got to do this. Got to eat, got to take a break. It has been nonstop today, nonstop news. Oh, I did see that, hold on a second here. One thing I did see is that supposedly, oh, okay, sorry. Okay, forget that. I'm gonna forget about that for now. I gotta get off the air. So come back and join us tonight. We'll probably come on around 7 for the 8 p.m. Address by President Biden to the nation. We'll come on a little before that. Okay. So that is it for now. Thank you for joining our live coverage of these news events so far today. More coverage tonight. That is it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Oh, and thank you also for letting me read your comments on the air and sending me updates during the broadcast. I really appreciate that as well. That is it. We'll see you a little later tonight. We'll see you tonight with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.